More bad news for President Obama. A new Bloomberg poll shows 72% of Americans see the U.S. economy is on the wrong course. 62% disapprove of the president's handling of the economy, and his job approval rating is now at the lowest level of his presidency at 45%. Meanwhile, the Republicans have won a special election here in New York to replace Anthony Weiner, winning that district for the first time in almost 100 years. We're joined now by Gerald Celente of the Trends Journal. And the weird thing is, Gerald, you said that if the election was held today, President Obama would be reelected.
If the three candidates, the front runners, were Perry, Romney, and Bachmann, he would beat them because they have nothing. And when you look at them and you watch the debates, if you break these down, you have Romney. He could be a golf pro. He has that look and that sales pitch. Perry, every time you start nailing him, he starts breaking down. He has more of that Elmer Gantry kind of flavor. And Michelle Bachmann keeps coming up on empty. And then when you look at the Republicans, and I'm a political atheist, by the way. I don't believe in any of this stuff, the party stuff. And when you look at what the Republicans keep doing and listen to the whole summer and where we are, what do they want to do? They talk about Social Security and cutting entitlements. You're entitled to nothing.
Right.
And as you know, the numbers in poverty levels, in income going down, a median household income. You think that people want to take more out of their pockets? And that's what the Republicans are advocating. So even though Obama won't do anything, and people have, ADD, they forgot that, didn't he reinstitute the Bush tax cuts back in December? He'll play the game, and people will believe it because it's going to be just as they did in the last election. When you would tell a person all of the things Obama's doing that they don't like on the liberal end, they would say, what do you want me to do, vote for McCain?
Right.
And that's going to be this kind of election, too. It will be another lesser of two evil election.
So, wait a minute. You're also saying the world is going to hell in a handbasket. We're going to basically have another revolution. Society's breaking down. It's so terrible and so forth. Given that, and given the unemployment rate, the poverty and everything else you're talking about, and Obama's seeming inability to do anything about it, aren't the American people going to do what they have done in the past, which is say, you know what, we are voting you out. Not we're voting for Romney or Perry, but we're just voting for change.
To me, if anybody watched the CNN debate that they sponsored in Florida, it was like watching a combination of announcing people for the Miss America pageant and the World Wrestling Federation. They say that show business, politics is show business for ugly people. This is the presidential reality show. You see, you're talking in terms of facts. I'm talking in terms of presentation. And in the reality show, Obama could pull it off better. That's all that was a campaign speech. He will promise the people something while the other ones are promising to take away from them. So and issues aren't really, they're going to keep it, again, to those major issues of Social Security, health care, entitlements.
Well, what about taxes? The Republicans are going to say, we're going to lower your taxes or promise you they won't be raised. Obama is going to raise taxes on a lot of Americans. Isn't that going to have some sway in the election?
I could do an Obama for you. I'm going to raise them taxes on those people with those corporate jets. So he's going to make it out. He's going to go after the rich.
But you're
people.
for that. Right. You say that that's a good idea.
Oh, I say yes. Soak the billionaires. Absolutely. I'm in favor of a flat tax. That to me makes the most amount of sense. Do away with the IRS. Just everybody pay a certain percentage. But so when he does do the tax game, he's going to come out like he's a progressive and wants to get the big guys. When he's talking about family of two, $250,000, I believe that 80% of the taxes, $250,000 to $500,000 bracket, will be hit the hardest. And living in New York City,
that doesn't make you
not
rich.
A lot of money.
That doesn't make you rich.
You're okay, but if you have two kids in college, you're just making it.
Right.
So that's what he's going to do. He's not going to really bang the Buffetts of the...
Right, so you said he would beat Bachmann, Romney, or Perry. Is there anybody, right now, is there anybody on the Republican campaign who's either declared or is still in the sidelines who you think could beat him?
We would say our two dark horse picks are Huntsman and Ron Paul. But Ron Paul just doesn't seem to have the charisma to get it out across. And Huntsman, I mean, he has the credentials. And when you see when he jumped into the race, he was the former ambassador to China, there was a lot of backtalk in Washington about how he betrayed the Obama administration because they sent him to China not to get into this race. So I think a guy like him would have more of a shot than any of the other.
Does he have a chance to get the GOP nomination?
It's too early to tell right now. I mean, could you imagine? You know, when I grew up, when I was a kid, this stuff didn't start until the summer before Election Day. You know, now we're a year and a half before it. So much could happen between now and then.
Does it matter who's president?
Yeah, sure it does.
It does.
Yeah.
So it's an important election.
It's a very, but look what happened in the midterm elections. You know, go back, as they used to say, play over the videotape. This is going to be a historic election. What historic? It's the same thing. It's important, but not when you have the Republicans and the Democrats. How about putting in the Gambinos and the Bananos? Nothing is going to change under the system that we have. And that goes back to the question, if Ron Paul got elected or if Huntsman got elected, it's still the same system. So, of course, it's really important, but only if we get somebody in there that really wants to do something to change the course.
Do you want to announce your nomination right now that you're running for president?
If I'm elected, I promise you nothing, and if I get elected, that's exactly what you'll get.
All right,
How about that for campaign promise?
You got my vote. Thanks very much.